Hi guys, this is App Unwrapper. I'm back with Of Two Minds on iOS, and I'm going to pick up where I left off, try to get the missing clips.
I won't be able to see you tomorrow.
Why not?
My wife insists on a vacation. 10 days.
Oh no.
Oh. Happy.
Couldn't be happier. Yes, I could. Look. Just like old times.
You long for that, don't you?
Interpretation.
Sorry.
Come on, pay up.
That's a good rule.
No.
In a million years, I would never have dreamed this could happen to me. I'm going to marry her. You must be in shock. Abram, will you give me your blessing? I can be happy with her.
I can't help wondering what it would be like to make love without, if we were trying to have a baby.
We could find out.
Did you already put your diaphragm in?
Take it, it's yours.
Sorry about the noise outside.
What's the matter with you?
What did I do?
What if someone saw us?
We'd be finished in the profession.
Go ahead, I'll walk 2 steps behind you.
Don't make fun of me. I'm ruining your life.
You are not ruining my life, Rex. But if you're not careful, you're gonna ruin my lunch break.
I love you.
That's better.
You may go.
Both of us. Don't bully me! I'll remember this and I'll tell everyone. Unless you kill me.
Dr. Petrov, take this patient back to her room.
I never saw him before. He'll never be able to love you as much as I do.
The question is, how much will I be able to love him? Your question is, how much do I love you? You don't love me. At all.
My sentiments exactly. I'm sorry, Annie. A lost shrink can't rescue a lost patient. God, I wish Sandra were here to rescue me.
She already has.
Annie? It can't be. Where are you?
No.
I thought you were going to hit me.
A hit is a kind of touch. And sometimes in certain circumstances,
I'm sorry to interrupt you, sir. A telegram just arrived for you.
Oh.
Yes. Thank you.
I hope it's not bad news.
No, this is from...
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Oh no. No. No.
As Freud once said, one no would have been enough.
One no is never enough.
Oh, come on.
Takes time to plan a vacation, Rex. Why didn't you tell me? What would it have cost you?
I knew you'd be unhappy.
$990 days, 11 hours, and 14 minutes.
He already paid you for the first 547 days, 12 hours and 20 minutes.
The things are cumulative, lady. Pay up.
I have no idea what just happened there.
In the dream you tell me you are wrapped in a magic blanket and nothing can happen to you. Nothing is nothing. Nothing bad, but also nothing good. You're telling me that in this analysis you come back day after day to your blanket and nothing happens to you.
So I want to stay here with you and be safe.
I'm too old to go sightseeing.
How old are you, Grandpa?
As old as God. As old as the century.
Then you're 89.
If you love me, you'd touch me. Or at least you'd want to. And I'd pick that up. I've been coming here for years and years. You never told me what to feel. Please touch me. She's like a little girl who needs to be picked up and held. I want you to.
Aha. 2.
I've written this encounter with my grandfather into Annie's notebook because it meant so much to me. My father needed a kidney transplant, and his brother, who was willing to give him one, was stuck behind the Iron Curtain in the very last months of the Soviet Union. All I could think about was my father dying. I would wake up every morning and ask myself whether today was going to be the day. And then I had a chance to talk with my grandfather, and he was not the pessimistic ogre my mother thought he was, but a man who, despite all his suffering, had a deep love of the human condition with all its contradictions. Talking to him, I forgot for a moment my own worries because I was thinking about other people, not just reacting, but really thinking.
Who listens to you when you have troubles?
No one listens to an old man. They leave him to God. Once, a very long time ago, Dr. Sigmund Freud listened to my troubles.
Who's Dr. Sigmund Freud?
A modern sort of God, Sarah. He invented psychoanalysis. Nobody listens to him much anymore either.
I've an idea. Let's play psychoanalyst. I'll be Dr. Sigmund Freud.
I don't think so, Sarah.
Please, Grandpa? Please?
All right. First, I will lie down here on your couch and you sit down. No, you sit on the other end.
Here?
That's right.
Now tell me, Dr. Rubinstein, what are you afraid of?
I'm afraid of living in a world that does not listen. Listen, Sarah. What do you hear? Listen, and you will hear the world not listening to itself. What's that sound there?
The man in the tower, calling the Arabs to the mosque.
What else do I hear? That caterwauling in the church sounds like Baptists, tourists singing about their God. What else?
Footsteps outside the walls.
Jews. They're hurrying home for Shabbat to worship their God.
How many gods are there, Grandpa?
None.
But there must be a God.
Must there be? Why?
Because I prayed to God for a miracle to save my daddy.
You, Doctor, are the miracle.
I don't know what to say.
Don't say anything.
This is weird. How does it end?
You look at your watch and say, "We have to stop now."
We have to stop now. If Mommy had been a boy instead of a girl, would you fight with her so much?
Maybe not, sir. It's something to think about. I'm glad you're a girl.
Psychoanalysts use the term transference to refer to feelings the analysand develops towards their analyst, feelings that are fostered in the most unusual way. The idea is that if the psychoanalyst does not insert herself into the analysand's thoughts, but instead listens without judgment, without interruption, and often without comment, the analysand will begin to project feelings onto their psychoanalyst. These feelings will have unacknowledged relevance to the other important figures in the analysand's life, such as parents, significant others, bosses, colleagues, or friends. Because the psychoanalyst doesn't respond like someone in a relationship, doesn't get angry if accused, for example, the dynamics can be discussed instead, providing a safe laboratory for the analysand to explore their interactions with the most important people in their life. It sounds unnatural, and of course it is, but transference is one of the most powerful tools in the psychoanalytic toolbox. But what of the analyst? Are psychoanalysts made of stone? What about the feelings we develop for and about our analysands, who entrust themselves to our ability to keep our feelings out of the session? Psychoanalysts call these feelings countertransference, and it is considered poor practice for psychoanalysts to intrude upon an analysand with our feelings. Some psychoanalysts have more trouble with countertransference than others, and Leonard is an extreme example. He is clearly dazzled by Annie and has a terrible crush. When Annie tells him that she has broken up with Rex, he is overstimulated by his attraction to this beautiful, intelligent woman who is lying on his couch, whose sex life, first with Mel and then with Rex, he has been following in detail. When Annie fights with Rex after his dream about having a baby, it seems to open up a vacancy in Annie's life, and the thought is too much for Leonard. He tries to take an antacid without disturbing her, but ends up dropping the glass. This is useful. Annie recovers a memory about her father during the session, but Leonard is unable to help her analyze it because the saucy little girl that Annie is describing as her younger self is so vivid in Leonard's imagination that she appears to him in his office. Leonard ends the session, then when the imaginary little girl is still in his office, he realizes he is out of control and follows Annie out into the street. To get away from the vision, he leaves his office and goes for a walk in the park. There he sees a woman in a red cape whom he thinks is Annie and pursues her into a tunnel. When she confronts him, angry and frightened at being stalked, she turns out to be a former patient of his. When she kisses him, Leonard leaps at this opportunity to bury his attraction to Annie in a new relationship with a woman who was formerly his patient, to whom he was attracted when she was the one lying on his couch. In psychoanalytic circles, it is still a major transgression to begin a relationship with a former patient, but it is not as bad as having a personal relationship with a current patient. When Sandra says, "I have a new analyst," Leonard feels a great lessening of guilt. Someone else will be watching them and can protect Sandra from him if she needs it. So he allows himself to respond, "In that case, are you free for dinner?" Sandra and Leonard get married, but when he carries her over the threshold of their room in the inn, they are still struggling with his guilt. Have they even made love yet? When Annie's telegram interrupts them, it is a serious interruption. That night, Leonard dreams about Annie, and Sandra dreams about her current analyst Rex. And Leonard goes out for a walk to calm down and gets lost on the moors, telling a sheep that he has taken Sandra there because Annie vacationed there the previous year and told him about it. A good psychoanalyst would not judge Leonard, but try instead to understand why he is so helpless in the face of countertransference, and why he has made the choices he made. He is overwhelmed by his guilt, and his getting lost is a kind of suicide. This is terrible. But if he had been a better analyst and been able to help Annie more, if he had been able to keep the issues that Annie's analysis brought up for her in his office where they could be analyzed and understood, Annie would never have put herself in danger in Russia. And in that case, my father probably would have died.
Annie! Sandra!
Oh no. Okay. So how many case studies do we have left? 5.
Why do you run?
It gives me a good reason to be in Russia. I'm here undercover for Freedom International. Have you heard of us?
I think we give you money. God.
Who's we? You and Leonard?
And you, Mel.
Well, we're grateful for your support. I'm here to help rescue a man named Sergei Oltensky. He has a twin brother, Ivan, who was a famous scientist here, and he escaped to Israel. Ivan is now very sick, and he needs a kidney transplant from Sergei within the next couple of weeks, or he will die. Now, the Russians can't decide whether to let him go. I'm here to help them make that decision and to get him out.
That's your conscious reason for running. You have unconscious reasons too. You might not be aware of them, but you do have them. Oh, that is a really good conscious reason. I wonder what mine is. Do I have one? I feel
You
like
can
I
share mine.
Oh. Nice.
Annie's mission in Moscow comes to a disastrous conclusion. She puts herself in danger by running onto the metro tracks and chasing a train. Then she confronts, but can't stand up to, the KGB when they take my uncle Sergei away. Faced with representatives of her father, they carry guns, they hit people. She freezes and doesn't stand up to them as an American citizen.
They carry guns. They hit people.
That might not have worked, but she is unable to even try, though she has had no trouble putting herself in danger. She just used her running skills to run after a metro train on the underground tracks. She is on her way to understanding why she freezes when confronted with a hostile authority figure, but she tells the story with an oddly comic tone, as she struggles to connect what just happened to her with the topic she thinks most about, her love life.
If you want me to put your man on my plane to Israel, your woman better get him here in the next 4 minutes. Or else I can't fly out under the radar.
Andy, these are all the wrong men.
Story of my life.
No.
What? I'm a little confused as to who the narrator is in the case studies. It sounds like it's one of the characters. Okay, it's telling me this.
When Annie regains consciousness, despite all she has gone through and being restrained in a hospital, her first sensation is one of sanity. She was drugged, but she is wide awake and, for the first time in her life, unafraid. She has recovered the memory of her father attacking her as a little girl and understood the place of the trauma in her life. She is no longer interested in being cowed by powerful men and no longer interested in keeping secrets. Annie's cure is a psychoanalytic one, and she embraces the possibility of a very different life with very different companions. But Annie's breakthrough required more than her analysis with Leonard. He opened the memory of her father and its connection to her phobia of broken glass, but didn't see it through. She had to relive the handling of the broken chandelier glass after her failure to stand up to the men on the Moscow metro, because Leonard didn't interpret Annie's phobia of broken glass as a symbolic reference to the loss of Annie's virginity. When Annie tried to throw herself through the plate glass window in the hotel, it must have been one last attempt to keep her father's secret forever. It took a combination of analytic work and real-life adventure for Annie to achieve her insight and change her life. Maybe I should not be so insistent that my own analysans live out their experiments and changes only verbally in my office instead of out in the world. The world is dangerous, but also necessary, and as the history of Berlin makes clear, not reliably a bad place. What a coincidence that Annie should be getting my uncle out from behind the Iron Curtain on November 9th, 1989, the day the East Germans decided to let people through the wall. I am awed by the number of things that had to happen to prevent my father from dying of kidney failure when I was a girl. If Annie had not fallen in love with Rex and his conflicted desire to experience and yet regret his sadism, if Annie had not taken up running as a way to combine being strong and hurting herself, if Annie had not married a man who reminded her of her mother but had a husband who wanted to come with her on her summer trips, if she hadn't been attracted to Peter and his conscious reason for running, if she hadn't been in shape enough to run after a subway train, if her affair with and apology to Peter hadn't brought the terrible secret of her relationship with her father to the threshold of consciousness, and above all, if she hadn't woken up in a Moscow mental hospital, sane and fearless, she would never have rescued my Uncle Sergei, and my father would have died. Annie gave me a far better childhood than she had herself, and she didn't even know I existed until I contacted her this year and asked her to tell me more about the summer she rescued Uncle Sergei.
Wait, so is this all based on actual people?
Okay. Here's the wall.
Yeah.
I don't speak East German.
speak German. I don't speak Russian, you don't speak English. Helmut didn't meet us at the airport. This, as the Buddhists say, sucks.
They should have.
Well, that's their problem. We've got our own problems.
What do we do?
So I have 3 left. Right?
Water! Tea. Oh, there's a strawberry floating in my cup. Oh, there's a strawberry floating in my cup. I could choke to death on this.
Oh, come on.
I need to make 3 international calls. The first one is to Athens in Greece. The other 2 are in New York. I need to make 3 international calls. The first one is to Athens in Greece. The other 2 are in New York. What's not possible? I see. Well, tell me one more thing. If you can't make calls to anywhere, then why did you ask me where I was calling? Nothing works in this country. I don't understand why we're supposed to be afraid of it. Come in. What's that?
Carrot juice.
Thank you. Oh, here, have a cookie. Most of a cookie.
You should be resting.
Well, I'll rest as soon as I've called New York. Right now the phones aren't possible, so I can't rest.
You need a back rub?
I need a telegraph office.
You can share mine.
Oh, come on. How am I supposed to find the last few?
Anyone else need a hand-delivered tranquilizer?
Sounds perfect for my mother.
We'll send her a code for...
What's that?
A message to be hand-delivered by a U.S. State Department courier for people who don't have one of these in their homes.
Okay. 48 Arboro Lane, South Mock, New York.
And the pain is gone.
Thank you, Peter. You saved a lot of people a lot of anxiety.
That's the idea.
Oh no. Oh my God.
There. Just ruins.
Tvoj brat. Idite sa mной.
What?
Is this glasnost or perestroika?
November 7, 1917.
November 7th, 1917.
Finally.
I wish you could tell me why you're so upset.
Throughout his relationship with Annie, Rex has been pursuing a painful, unconscious agenda. When he was little, his mother suffered a psychotic break, popularly called a nervous breakdown, and was never the same after that. No longer joyful, no longer adventurous, she put all her attention into staying on an even keel, and probably took medication to help her. Little Rex must have been devastated by the loss of his relationship with the exciting mother he had adored. He was also enraged by his helplessness, and counteracted that helplessness by convincing himself, unconsciously, that he was the cause of her breakdown. This made him feel guilty about what he had supposedly done to her. But the guilt, which is how he confirms to himself that it was his fault, was better than the helplessness he would have felt at being unable to prevent his mother's breakdown. This belief has been difficult to maintain as an adult. As a psychiatrist, he learned that what happened to his mother was not his fault, but the unconscious belief never left him. Unconsciously, Rex is determined to use Annie's love for him to drive her to a nervous breakdown to prove to himself once and for all that he has that kind of power when a woman loves him. So all his seesawing between love and withholding is in the service of that secret agenda. Annie is unconsciously pursuing an agenda that is in some ways even darker. She needs her pain to turn into rage, so she can finally experience the feeling she has repressed about what her father did to her. In the coming scene, Annie dreams quite correctly that there is an idealized Annie and an unidealized Annie, and an idealized Rex and an unidealized Rex. When the two idealized figures get together, they can be happy, but the two unidealized ones will always be miserable.
Sex isn't everything. Sex with you seems like everything. Tell me what it is for you.
I'm afraid it's revenge.
But Carlotta and Mel don't know about us.
You're right. Then it's my revenge against Abram, and your revenge against Leonard.
Hey, what about love? That's better.
Isn't it?
It's a lousy revenge. We're the only ones getting hurt.
Yeah.
How are you hurting me, Rex?
I've wrecked your analysis. And wrecked your life.
Oh, you think you have that much power?
Over you, Annie? Over you.
Oh God. How am I gonna get these last ones?
What's happened?
Well, you know how life is, Annie. Just when you think you're winning, there's a sudden reversal.
I know about life now.
There's no good way to say this. Leonard's wife called today.
I didn't know he had a wife.
Well, he doesn't. He did. He was on his honeymoon. He's dead. They were staying at that lodge you stayed in last year on Dartmoor, and he sank into Great Grimpen Mire. They just found him. It's funny, I didn't know it was dangerous there.
Oh, Leonard.
I know just how he feels. Felt. How he would feel. I mean, just when everything was going so well.
I'm leaving you.
You won't get a cent.
Oh God, okay. I'm gonna take a break. Let's see.
Aren't you worried?
About what?
Flying all the way to Russia, running the Moscow Marathon, leading the tour group, keeping track of all our baggage.
No. But I am anxious about nuclear war, the hole in the ozone layer, destruction of the rainforest, endangered species, political prisoners.
I'm sorry.
What for?
I don't know. I suddenly felt responsible for all that.
In that case, I'm worried about my sex life.
I think I'm gonna get some more cookies. Can I get you anything?
Peace in our time.
Ah.
Adine!
Ooh.
When Annie hits the wall near the end of the Moscow Marathon, she hallucinates it as a literal wall and dreams of two men from her early psychoanalytic days watching over her as angels. By making them angels, she dreams that they are dead, revealing her hostility to men from her past, even while imagining that they feel fondly towards her. She is making progress in turning pain into rage.
What am I doing? All alone, in a hostile country, in my underwear, in pain.
I knew her.
Really? So did I.
She was my first psychoanalyst.
I was her first psychoanalyst. Small world, wasn't it?
Do you miss it?
I miss the food.
I gotta find the last stuff.
Did you doubt me? Rex? What happened? Has he changed your mind about me? You broke the mirror. 7 years bad luck.
I broke up with Rex.
I'm sorry. You know I can't bear the sound of breaking glass.
Annie, what are you doing?
I don't know!
How am I gonna find the right words? I don't know.
I think we should be very sure about what I'm getting myself into.
I'm not as brave as you are. You'll have to consider my fears.
My life's work will be considering your fears.
I wish we weren't out of time, but I have to go in there now. What I want to know is, are you a dream come true, or a figment of my analysis?
I love you more, so I want you more.
We have what we have, Annie. We agreed at the beginning.
Well, this isn't the beginning anymore. Rex, I'm afraid if I can't have you, I'll go crazy.
Don't you ever threaten me like that again. Do you think I'll love you if you go crazy? One break, one tiny psychotic episode, and we are through. Do you hear me? Through!
Why are you yelling at me? What have I done to you? Is it a crime to love you? Well, I'm sorry. Whatever I've done, I'm sorry.
It's not what you've done. It's what you will do.
Come on.
Actually, you look familiar too. Leonard?
Yes. Sandra Gordon? You look wonderful.
No thanks to you. After my analysis with you, I went through the worst 4 years of my life.
It's a long time.
Do you have the tickets?
What am I doing? All alone, in a hostile country, in my underwear, in bed.
Letty, I don't want to go.
But she's our only daughter and your only living child. Her husband is dying. She needs us.
If Diana needed us, she wouldn't have moved halfway around the world.
Well, that's what she needed to do then. Then is not now. Now she needs us.
What can we do?
We can go. And we can care.
Oh, Daisy, will you look at that sunrise? You know what you are, Daisy? You are just about everything I have left in the world. cheeseburger? I want 2 cheeseburgers. Is it 2? 2 cheeseburgers, a half a thriller, and you. I wish I could stay here forever.
At this point, I don't know who I'm gonna find. I don't know why they can't just let me have a list of all the words at this point.
To leave you, love. But it's time to have some breakfast and be a winner.
"60 seconds.
I can't wait to get home and tell Rex.
Where did I come off thinking I could do something like this with someone like you? Rescuing people from Iron Curtain countries requires a certain commitment to mindfulness. Those are KGB agents over there. They carry guns. They hit people.
Peter? Anyone ever hit you?
Yeah.
But it was a long time ago, right?
Yeah, my dad when I was a kid.
Look at it this way. If we get hit this time, it'll be by strangers. That's an improvement, isn't it?
Yeah, in a way. Thanks.
Ah.
Not quite. Today you want a blessing, which is something that protects a young man when he goes out into the dangerous world.
My father is dead. I wish he weren't.
I got it.
Compared with my grandfather's time, psychoanalysis has all but vanished as a therapeutic technique, though many of its derivatives, like psychotherapy, some of which is specifically psychoanalytically informed, remain popular. Psychoanalysis has been largely replaced, or maybe given up would be a better description, because it is expensive, slow, makes no promise of cure, and takes place in the context of an artificial feeling relationship between analyst and analysand, marked by strictly maintained formal boundaries. In strict Freudian analysis, which I do when I can, analyst and analysand never touch, and the analyst avoids talking about herself in order not to interfere with the analysand's associations and projections. The analysand lies down on a couch and starts speaking aloud whatever comes to mind. An analysand who wants to solve a problem will start out talking about the problem, but will soon wander all over the place in a process called free association. Whenever the time for the session is over, it's over. The analyst interrupts, the patient stops talking, gets up, and leaves, and comes back the next day or the day after to do it again, by which time completely new problems are probably top of mind. Psychoanalysts used to be derided for not talking, which was equated with not giving the patient anything for the money and time spent in a session. But in fact, analysts are actively listening, as they call it, and try not to interrupt. They are listening for patterns of thought, for incidents that remind them of other incidents, for the patient's unique use of symbols and metaphors, and for the ways in which the analysand connects ideas. Only when I can tell my analysand something new about the way they think about life and make choices has the time come to interrupt. Psychoanalysts, few as we still are, undergo years of training and are taught how to listen and how to interpret, so that the interpretation is most likely to be heard and useful, and we are taught to believe in the existence of the unconscious. No one has yet found the unconscious in a brain scan, but psychoanalysts believe that we are all thinking two things at the same time every moment, and we are only aware of one of them. Psychoanalysts are taught that what we experience in childhood matters in adulthood, even if we have forgotten what we experienced. We are taught that we cannot see into the unconscious, but we can create conditions under which clues to a particular person's unconscious are more likely to emerge through dreams, patterns, and free association, slips of the tongue, and in other ways. The strange, austere behaviors during the analytic session exist to promote the finding of these clues and patterns. It is a privilege to get to know someone so well, to help them uncover their secret ambitions, and to help them realize their dreams. There is nothing more interesting in the world.
Mommy, I've decided what I want to be when I grow up. We have to stop now.
Huh.
Oh, that's right. When are you leaving me?
I'll go now. Goodbye, Mel. Good luck.
Promise me you won't do something crazy.
It's good to see you.
It is?
It's always good to see you. Would have been good to see you in Russia, too. I needed you.
That's why I thought you didn't want to see me.
How about tonight?
good. I have a cancellation.
Oh, I deserve better than that.
I know.
No.
I know.
No,
I
you
know.
don't. No.
I'm free tonight between 7 and 7:43.
I'm free for the rest of my life.
What do you mean?
I left Mel.
You had a breakdown in August, and you just buried your analyst. This is no time to be making major changes.
The whole world's making major changes.
You were married for 15 years. Don't you have any feelings?
I love you.
I want you.
Then take me. Or leave me.
I can't do either one.
Peace.
Yes, the operation was last night, and apparently it was successful. Both Ivan and Sergei are expected to recover and lead normal lives.
I'm very glad to hear it.
My family and I are grateful to you. I hope that you can find people who can make you as happy as you have made us.
Where to?
I'll drive.
Department of Transformation. Nope.
Hello?
Hello? Is this Dr. Sarah Rubenstein?
Yes. How can I help you?
This is Annie Rose.
Oh, wow. Hi. I just got done reading your notebook. Thank you for saving my father's life.
How's he doing?
He's slowed down quite a bit, but the last time I visited Israel, he and my mother were doing fine and very happy together.
I'm slowing down a little, too.
Says the marathon runner. And thank you for trusting me with the whole story of Rex.
I guess I wanted to tell someone. Not his real name, of course.
Still ambivalent about keeping a man's secret, I see.
Touché. You really did become an analyst.
Touché. I'll send the notebook back to you.
You can give it back. I'm calling because I'll be visiting New York next week, and I thought if you have time between patients, we could get coffee.
I would love that. And I will have more than 43 minutes.
So is it based on... Oh. Interesting. The acting was a little all over the place. But I kind of got into it after a while. It was Shakespeare and Freud. Okay, so that's the end. Saw everything. So that is Of Two Minds. Check it out. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks. Bye-bye.